We must ask ourselves, what was the purpose, what was the intention when the law says you notify the police? It is not for them to turn around and start interrogating you. Who are you? Why are you demonstrating? What for? Where? What is the time? No. The purpose of notification issued to the police is for them
to provide
security.
Yes.
Plan yourself, organize yourselves as a police unit to protect me. But Charles is coming on TV trying to make it appear that once you notify me, I am now the askari.
No.
Just shut up, please.
No.
I can't shut up. Let me finish. That's primitive. I kept quiet. I kept quiet. So when he comes on TV and starts saying, who are the organizers? That's the attitude of the police. You take a notification to the OCS of a police station, start telling you, who are you? Who has paid for this?
No.
The purpose of notification is for that OCS
provide security.
Is to provide security.
Only.
To who? For him to know.
To the protesters.
Let me just please allow me to talk. Charles, stop
I'll give you all a chance.
Stop heckling.
Welcome back once again to Bonita Media. Call me Boniface Owino. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today in the morning I was listening to the Daybreak. And let me tell you that sometimes you sit down, listen to these people speaking, and you ask yourself that are these really the leaders that we expect to lead us? Because the way they speak sometimes makes you wonder whether they also live in Kenya or maybe they live abroad. They only come to Kenya maybe if there is an emergency. I was listening to Charles. There was this tug of war. Let me just call it tug of war or exchange of words between Charles Owino, that is the former National Police Service spokesperson who served for a very long time together with Willis, that is the lawyer. This Charles wants to become the governor of Siaya County, if I'm not wrong. That is, he's interested in becoming the governor. That is in 2027. I don't know whether he's still having that vision or not, but that is what he said. That after retiring from becoming the National Police Service spokesperson, he wants to become a governor. I was listening to their conversation, and one thing I came to realize is that Charles Owino, I don't know whether he lives in Kenya, because the way he reasons, imagine you being asked a very simple question, that why is it that you are talking about peaceful demonstration, that Kenya should have a very peaceful demonstration? That is it was asked by Trevor. And then the next thing that, the next answer that he's giving is that, of course, we all saw the police officers walking around the street. They were deployed on the streets during the demonstration. And then, one thing he says is that police must be deployed on the street during the demonstrations. Why? Because if they're not deployed, then Kenyans can burn this country down.
So what I'm saying is that the police have a bigger role to play. And Jalego, what I want you to agree with me, that this is our country, and if our major source of conflict are things to do with picketing, demonstrations, and so on, then we need to think as a team that what is the best way to manage these processes? What is the best way? Because even on us as civilians, we need to have some level of discipline and say this is what we want. You must ask yourself, do we want anarchy or we want agitation? You talked about agitation. When you are agitating, because we've seen situations like even we were talking about goons. There's the other day when I saw vehicles burnt, and somebody even said those vehicles burnt were OP vehicles. One of the vehicles belonged to a police corporal. A vehicle I know he bought 5-6 years ago using his loan. The vehicle was burnt by goons, demonstrators. I don't think that day these goons we are talking about were there. And I have no reason to protect goons or people carrying, how do we call them? I saw them with sticks, big rungus in town. And what we are promoting now is people starting to have gangs in the city, where you find that the opposition are promoting unlawful demonstrations. I know he will say they are lawful, and he's a lawyer, and I know he's campaigning.
Tells you the mindset of the police. He's actually the typical mindset of a policeman.
Absolutely.
Now, all of a sudden, he's turning the purpose of notification to obligations. We must ask ourselves, what was the purpose, what was the intention when the law says you notify the police? It is not for them to turn around and start interrogating you. Who are you? Why are you demonstrating? What for? Where? What is the time? No. The purpose of notification issued to the police is for them
to provide
security.
Yes.
Plan yourself, organize yourselves as a police unit to protect me. But Charles is coming on TV trying to make it appear that once you notify me, I am now the askari.
No.
Just shut up, please.
No.
I can't shut up. Let me finish. That's primitive. I kept quiet. I kept quiet. So when he comes on TV and starts saying, who are the organizers? That's the attitude of the police. You take a notification to the OCS of a police station, start telling you, who are you? Who has paid for this?
No.
The purpose of notification is for that OCS
provide security.
Is to provide security.
Only.
To who? For him to know.
To the protesters.
Let me just please allow me to talk. Charles, stop
I'll give you all a chance.
Stop heckling. The purpose is that when that OCS is deploying his units for operations on that day, he is now aware that within my locality, there's a demonstration that is going to take place. As I deploy it, the numbers may be massive. I need to even ask for reinforcement to help me, to help the demonstrators to achieve their objective of Article 37 demonstration.
Yeah.
It is not an opportunity that this policeman turns himself to become a superior and a superintendent of a demonstration.
Trevor, allow me.
It's on that issue. It's on that issue, Charles.
No.
It's on that issue.
Just allow me to finish. Just allow me to finish.
I'll come to you, Glory.
And I want to say this.
Yeah.
When we say that we have a right to demonstrate, and Charles here says to him as he speaks, you'll think a demonstration is anarchy. That attitude, that mindset, I've been to almost every single demonstration since last year. And on many occasions when the police did not interfere. I was in the CBD when the numbers that were demonstrating had never been seen in the history of the earth here in Kenya. And when the police did not interfere, the demonstrators communicated their anger, their displeasure, and they went home. It is only when the police started using batons, water cannons, and guns that things turned ugly. So you should not sit here and say, we are going to excuse the police, that now they are the ones who have a right to superintend Article 37.
Okay.
Peaceably and armed. Kenyans only carry water,
and
handkerchiefs.
Okay.
Police come with guns, batons, and rubber
gas.
bullets and tear gas.
Yes.
My question is this. We know very well that this is the only country that we have. And then we have got peaceful demonstrators, people who have just gone on the street to demonstrate. Of course, these people cannot burn this country down. They know very well that if we burn this country down, where will we live? Furthermore, why will they burn this country down if the government is doing what they want? That is it. If the government can do what Kenyans want, then there is no need of even going, there's no need of even demonstrating. If we can have a very peaceful government, whereby government does what they need to do. Government can be accountable. Government there's a good governance. Everything runs smoothly. Like during the time of, let me say, during the time, the first time of the time of Uhuru Kenyatta, there were no more demonstrations. So if we can have such, in fact, during the time of Kibaki, let me say that the Kibaki reign, I don't think if there was any demonstration, but maybe if there was, then it was not that serious. But I don't think if there was. So if we can have a very peaceful government, a government that understands Kenyans, then we cannot have these demonstrations. People are going on the street to demonstrate because they are not contented. Like the government is not doing what is expected to do. That is why we are having these demonstrations. So Charles is saying that the police officers must be deployed. In fact, he's using the word must. If not, then this country can be burned down. And then Willis is asking a very simple question, which I know I also support, that what is the purpose of announcing a demonstration. Now, like for instance, everybody right now knows that next week, 25th, we'll be having a demonstration. Even the police themselves knows. In fact, they are trying to stop it. Now, why is it that now people announce? Why is it that it was announced that we'll be having a demonstration? This is the reason. A demonstration is announced so that the police officers can be aware and make sure that they come to protect Kenyans. Like, they don't come to fight Kenya, they don't come to vandalize things, they don't come to beat Kenyans up. They come so that they can also make sure that there is that peaceful demonstration. Because remember, the people that have announced the demonstration are peaceful protesters. These are Kenyans who have decided that they want to go and demonstrate. Now, after Kenyans have said that they are going to demonstrate, what needs to happen or what is expected is that now the police officers should go on the street, because that is their work, to protect Kenyans. Now, let them go on the street to make sure that there will be peaceful demonstration, nobody should be killed, nothing should be stolen, and no goons should be allowed also. But mark you right now, there is no demonstration that is going to be very peaceful, because if Sakaja has got his goons, the government has got his goons. Hapo katikati we have got thieves who are stealing people's properties. I don't think if we are going to have a very peaceful demonstration. So I would like you to listen to some of the conversations, and then we come back and conclude.
The police are complicit. In fact, police are allowing themselves to be used by legacy politicians to undermine our constitution. Because when a legacy politician publicly says, on Tuesday, tutakuta mtanipata town, threats are issued to the public. Not a single investigation done by the police. They are the investigating agents. They don't investigate that one. Attacks are done against civilians. They are not investigating. In fact, the police are using their vehicles as cover to the goons to invade town and attack other civilians. Not a single investigation. And yet, we have Albert Ojwang lying in a cold morgue today for purportedly posting something on, retweeting something on X. When somebody is walking armed to attack and to kill civilians, the police turn a blind eye. They don't see it. Threats are issued to members of the public. And for what? My brother here is telling me that we should not allow anarchy, we should allow not demonstrate every day, agitate every day. Our Article 37 of the Constitution, I can demonstrate every single day of my entire life. And I can demonstrate on anything. That is my right. And the police led by Owino should not try to gag us or tell us how to exercise and enjoy that right. Just like they have their right not to demonstrate, I have my right. Another Kenyan has his right to demonstrate. And he's challenged me to do the next demonstration. I'll say this. The issues for which the Kenyan people are demonstrating against are led by all Kenyans. I am not superimposing myself as their leader. I attend all demonstrations in this country. And for your information, go online. Here I am on the streets on the 17th. No, the latest. No, I'm talking of the latest. I'm on the streets on the 17th demonstrating. And I'm not going there as a leader. Yeah. I'm going there as a Kenyan enjoying my Article 37 right to demonstrate and to picket.
Peaceably.
So it should not be that when I'm out there demonstrating, I don't want to see Owino and his cohorts come with goons carrying batons to beat me up and other fellow demonstrators. When Owino and his cohorts are deployed on the streets, what I expect of them is to have first aid equipment in case somebody faints out of fatigue. I expect of them water to help give us water. I expect of them to help marshal us. If the site of the demonstration is Parliament, I expect the police to walk with us to Parliament, up to that epicenter, to demonstrate and to just make sure that we fully enjoy our Article 37 rights. But when the police turn themselves to become a superintendent of how to exercise the right, and they are given guns, ask yourself, when a citizen has said, I'm going to demonstrate, the response from the police when they are notified is to give guns to officers and deploy them. What are you sending? What message are you telling that policeman you've given a gun?
Okay.
So Baraza, for example, was given that shotgun with bullets. What was he being told indirectly? The same police system had told him, we have given you a gun, go and use it to shoot, to kill. If it was about protecting property or controlling the manner in which the demonstration are done, Baraza should have been given a baton, bottles of water, first aid kits, bandage, to assist anybody, give him glucose, to give demonstrators.
Yeah.
But the police system gave him guns.
Okay.
To go out to the streets. The final thing I want to say is this.
Yeah.
As we speak here today, DIG Lagat has not been arrested pending investigations. We saw OCS Talat yesterday detained under custodial orders by the court for 15 days. Why is there differential treatment being accorded to this particular one?
It's now been somewhat.
When other Kenyans, in ordinary circumstances like this, have always been, the police are always the first to run to court.
Okay.
That we want to be allowed to detain him for 30 days. Why are they applying differential treatment to Lagat? Lagat should also be in custody, pending investigations.
All right. To me,
As
it's very high level of provocation. Willis is saying that when you go to notify the police about your intention to picket, to demonstrate, or to assemble, then you don't need to be asked who you are. You must, when you are notifying the police, you're notifying the police that you want to have a demonstration or assembly or a procession, and that the police should not ask you who you are. That is number one. Number two, he's saying the police should not ask you what time and when. At the same time, he's saying the police need to plan themselves. How do you plan yourself when you don't know where the demonstration is starting, when you don't know when it is ending, when you don't know the route it is taking? This thing is not that. These things are not done for the sake of it, for activist mind of looking for offices. These things are done for purposes of order, and that is why it is called public order. It is not about me. I was born, I found it here. And we must have order. No matter the agitations we have, we must have order in our country. Business must continue. We have people who have traveled to this country as tourists. We have people who have come to this country to do business. We cannot lock our city. And Willis, we cannot apologize, I can tell you that, for allowing people to disorganize their country. The police have a duty to protect everyone and every property. And that is why we are saying there must be order. People must notify, we must know the route, and the police must support you. And when a policeman becomes rogue, a policeman must take individual responsibility and must be disciplined and must be dealt with. That must happen. We can also not allow, because, for example, you can never be a policeman forever, even if you're one. And even if you're a policeman, the policemen also are looking for their welfare. Policemen are poorly paid. Policemen still share houses. Okay, what you are talking about, policemen still live in a 3-bedroom house. Somebody is living in the bedroom. Somebody is living in another bedroom. Somebody is in the sitting room. Somebody is 52 years old. He has his daughter in that room, or his son who has come to visit. It's pathetic. Kenyans should look at the best way to make the police noble. But trying to twist a noble cause for your own interest because you want to become deputy president. Even if you become deputy president, you cannot be deputy president forever. You will one day have to be a normal civilian. Our country is important. Let's have order in our country. Let us give ourselves opportunity to work as a country and as a team. You know, Willis, we are not going to get police from Sweden to come and run our country. It's ours. And we are saying when the policeman is wrong, we must say it's wrong. When something is not working, we must say it is not working. I agree. But what we are just asking, yes, let's assume the policemen are rogue, the government is bad, but we as civilians, can we just show some order in ourselves first? If we are saying these people are rogue, do we also become rogue? Do we also just come to town, we don't know the organizer? Who do you even call when there is a problem? About grades. Okay, the issue of grades is not that police has never embraced educated people. Our first commissioner, Hinga, left school in 1954 in Alliance High School with a Division 1 to proceed to college, but could not because he was identified to join police. Kanyotu joined the police in 1959 from Makerere University, and many other policemen with good levels of education. The only thing, if you go to the military, you find they have clearly divided that they will have cadets, they'll have specialists, and it is a small portion. But the bigger portion, the people to fight, the bigger portion, the larger portion, are not people with those grades we are talking about. So even in the police, what is majorly important, we always talk about, that's why we do psychometric, and you're supposed to do psychometric and also the IQ test, the aptitude test, so that even if you are employing somebody with a Form 4 certificate, even if they have C, then amongst those C, who has better intelligence? Because you need very high IQ for police officers. Why? Because,
Charles, they don't take C, it's D. It's D plus.
No.
You know, I
the
know.
minimum,
excuse
me, Odoyo. Okay.
No, okay, but it's D.
The minimum, the minimum is D plus. But that is not exactly what the police take. And remember, after the Constitution 2010, when we did the Police Service Act, we recommended, and it was in law, that we take people with minimum of C plane. It is Parliament that reviewed it. So what I'm saying is that even as we speak today, we have a large pool of educated people. But it is not just the grade. Police work is a social work. Much of the police work, you learn it on duty. Even as an advocate, even as a lawyer, much of your work, you learn. You don't study everything in school. You learn it at work. The education only helps you to understand your work better and to learn better. So much of the work that the policemen do is gained out of experience, not just level of education. And that's why we are saying, even if you go back to our history, we have a few officers who never went to school much, but they were intelligent and they performed well. So what I'm talking about is, let us, all of us, including Willis, think about the welfare of the police, as Okey was putting it. Is this job attractive? Is it a noble job? How do we make police service a noble job that attracts the best? But I'm impressed with Okey's last sentiments because he has restricted himself on how best we can reform the police. He's talked about recruitment, he's talked about many things. Having been an insider, there are a number of issues, controversies that we have had in the police reform agenda. And that is why when there will be a review on the Constitution, and God gives us life, a number of us will have to attend to give our views on a number of issues. One of them is, if you look at the Constitution, you find that the Constitution states clearly that the IG shall not take instructions from any other person on matters, police operations, police promotions, transfers, all that, save on matters of policy in writing by the Cabinet Secretary. But then, if you come now to the Police Service Commission Act and the Police Service Act, you find that there is a commission which undertakes matters human capital.
Yes.
And you remember there was a lot of wars and pull and push between the first Inspector General and the first chairman of the Police Service Commission.
Yes.
Because he felt he has powers. And you remember the first Inspector General, there was even an advertisement for that position.
Yes.
And then it brought a lot of heat.
As is required.
And not really. If you go to the Constitution again, that is why I'm saying the law is contradicting itself. If you again go to the Constitution, it says the President shall appoint an Inspector General. I don't know you are
in consultation with the Commission.
No. It just says shall. There is no consultation. The consultation now comes in the act. So you see some of these things, and then you look at the Police Service Commission. Out of 9, 5 are policemen. The IG, the 2 DIGs, and 2 retired police officers.
Yes.
Only 4 are civilians.
Yes, so policemen have majority.
And then if you look at the police discipline, it's such that if you are below the IG, you can't contradict him. You cannot even go against, even in a closed door meeting. If you try to give an opinion and maybe he does not like it, you can be sure that is the end of you because of discipline structures and so on. So a lot still need to be very clear in law on how we need to move forward in managing the police service. Okay.
Now, one thing I can say about all that argument is that you find that once you've worked for a government, let me say that one thing I've realized with Charles Owino speaking is that Charles was once a police officer. So he cannot say anything against the police force. That is one thing, that is what is clear, that he can't say anything against the police force because he was once there. He knows very well that whenever I speak about this thing in a negative, I don't know why this fear normally comes. These people normally have fear that they can't speak against the government. Why? Why can't we just speak about what is there? What people, everybody is seeing what is happening. Everybody is watching what is happening. Then why pretend? Why pretend as if everything is okay, yet we all know that nothing is okay. A lot of things are not okay. Alright guys, that is just my thought and that is all I have for today. Let me know what you think at the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and also drop me a comment at the comment section. Until we meet again, I've been your host, Boniface Owino.